Let's talk about Drake a little bit. So a
And his
clip went,
daddy.
yep, a clip went viral.
Yeah.
A couple clips actually
Yeah.
of Drake and Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is now on the Drake tour for the next couple. I think the remaining dates on the tour.
Yes, he has replaced J. Cole.
Actually, no. I heard somebody break this down, and I didn't realize, but they're
Uh,
correct because I checked.
okay.
J. Cole never left the tour. What happened is Drake extended the tour. Remember,
Oh.
originally, originally what happened was Drake missed a bunch of dates from
Mhm.
his tour, and this was supposed to be him coming back around to do those
Dates.
dates. But
Okay.
then he added a bunch of other dates to kind of make it a second tour.
Okay.
So J. Cole only signed on for those original dates.
Okay.
And so now he needed someone else to co-headline, I guess. So you got Lil Wayne and Lil Durk to
Okay.
come in and do dates.
And J. Cole has things to do because he has to respond to. He
Yes.
too has to respond. Okay.
Yes, and I
So
think that's coming any day now. But J. Cole
J. Cole
actually,
is busy.
right, and I think that's why he decided not to do the other dates because we know he's got this stuff he's doing, an album he's
Yeah.
working on, etc. So I think that's really why. But it hasn't really been explained publicly, and that's why.
Mhm.
But Lil Wayne is on the tour now, and footage has come out of Drake and Lil Wayne using teleprompters to read their lyrics. Uh, and the internet is buzzing, 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 buzzing about it. Um,
Sure.
it appears that this is normal.
It is.
Um,
I looked it up. It's actually very common for people on tour to use a teleprompter as part of their stage setup. Now, my question is, and I know this is going to derail us just for a second, but it's fine. My question is, why they didn't give Miss Patty a teleprompter?
you know she had it.
Baby, it's moving too fast. That's probably what she said. Y'all gotta stop scrolling so fast. Yeah, cause I was thinking about it, and I was like, I immediately thought of Patti LaBelle. Immediately. And I said,
Messing up
well,
the tribute to Tina Turner.
yep. And I thought to myself, but why didn't Patty have a teleprompter? Now, let's get back to it. So this is this is apparently this is common. Um, everyone doesn't do it, but people do it. It is not uncommon. It's just that someone was able to capture it on camera and out them, which I don't even think it's an outing. I just think it's a, oh wow, this is happening. And your instinct is like, oh, that's cheating. But also, people don't understand how things work behind the scenes. We assume that everything is just so perfect and pristine and done just so that it is almost unfathomable sometimes as the public to see something like that and not have a shocked reaction to it.
Right.
But really, is it really that shocking? Would we prefer for them to not have the words and then not remember them? Or I also think there's a question here that should be answered, which
What would
is,
that be?
given hip hop culture specifically, because apparently people do this across all genres.
Mhm.
But given the nature of hip hop, given the fact that hip hop culture is so immersed in the words and how you say the words, and being able to recall the words, being able to do things like freestyle without having, and I know some people freestyle using things they've already
Yeah,
written or
today nobody freestyles. It's all rhythms.
right. But I'm just saying, like in a culture like that where that is so important, who wrote it? Did you write it yourself? When we have all of these conversations, and no, it's not the same thing, but is memorizing your words, especially music that you've been performing for years, because the song that they were performing was a song that we've heard them do millions of times and a song that's been out for probably 10 years now. Do you think it's okay? Do you think it matters?
I think there's a couple of answers. I think number one, Lil Wayne has come forth publicly before and said, I've written way too many songs and verses to ever remember them.
And done way too much lean.
That's what he said publicly, that he's written too many songs and verses to remember them all.
It's
So he
not a
might need it.
judgment. Sorry.
Okay. Uh, that's what he said publicly. And so if that's the case, then he might need a teleprompter.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next answer is you said it happens across all genres.
Right.
Then why should hip hop be scrutinized if it happens across all genres? If every genre does it, why wouldn't the most wordy genre be able to do it? No other genre has as many words as us.
That's true.
Or let me not say no other. Most other genres don't have as many words as we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we have double and triple and quadruple the words,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't we have the teleprompter? Wouldn't that mean we need it more?
It's the cops coming for Diddy.
Wow.
Now who's going vamoose?
Yep.
Jokes.
Yep.
Jokes.
And that's even if they could hear it, because when we edit, they may not be able to hear it. But that was actually really good. Leave that right in there. Um, yeah, if hip hop has more words than most other genres, then I would think having the teleprompter makes more sense for hip hop. But I have to be honest, I was shocked to see this. I did not know, honest. And maybe I live under a rock, but I didn't know that this was happening. I never seen anything like that. Um, and maybe because going back to the couple weeks ago, maybe because I'm a nobody.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
Nobody is nobody. Maybe because I'm nobody.
Listen,
Maybe that's why I was unaware. But I will say this in response to your question. Uh, in hip hop, there's a big thing about remembering your verses. There's a big thing about not being able to recall what you have written. It often calls into question, why don't you know what you have written, especially once it's recorded, especially once you're performing? But my answer is because we scrutinize ourselves way more than others do.
you're on stage in front of thousands of people.
I don't care if you're in front of 10 people. We're
Sure.
still scrutinized way more than the other genre who say, damn it, I forgot my lyrics. Matter of fact, last year we were
Mhm.
both at Roots Picnic when a legend in R&B said, "Oh shit, I forgot my own verse."
Well, 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 well. And that's all he had to do to clean it up. He just did, well,
It didn't go viral.
no, it didn't.
It wasn't like people wanted to take his music off Spotify. He just was like, "Oh my bad, y'all," and kept going.
And people thought it was endearing. I know I did.
So then that's my answer. We scrutinize ourselves way more than other genres. It's kind of like, you ever seen the movie Queen and Slim? Oh, okay. Drink while I ask you a question. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a no or a yes?
No,
What just happened? Were you
because I
scared to answer the question or something?
because I always meant to, and then things that I can't say publicly made me not. Like I meant to watch it, and I
Oh,
know
I
it
know
was
what this
a
is.
big deal
We
when
spoke
it came
about this
out,
before. Yeah,
but
I just remembered. Yeah,
I know one of the. I'll say this.
I was
I
about to
know
say something similar, right?
I know one of the cast members personally, like not a friend, but I've met one of the cast members like on an ongoing basis. Like we were in the same space for an extended period of time, right? Like we were around each other all the time. That's when I say I know the person, that's what I mean when I say I know them. And they told a lie publicly. And either they were lying then when I knew them or they're lying now.
All right.
And I
So that's
couldn't
like,
wrap my head around it. And so I just never went back to the film. Like I always meant to watch it because I'm sure that it's a great film. Everyone said go watch it. I understand, guys. But I just couldn't make peace with it, and so I just never went back to it. That
got it,
is that is what I can say about that. That's why I laughed because I'm like, oh, awkward.
got it. I was so confused. I was just gonna bring up a random line from the movie, and then it took a
Right,
turn.
but you know the real story, so
I totally forgot that. Yes,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. There's a scene in the movie when it's two main characters. So when he asks her, "Why
Mhm.
is it we always need to be the best at everything? Why is it black people can't just be? Why do
Right.
we always have to be the best? Why do we always have to go above and beyond? Why do we always have to be excellent at everything?" That's what this makes me think about. If hip hop has more words than most genres, forget about that actually. If this is done across all genres, why do we have to scrutinize hip hop for doing it? It shouldn't be
I-
scrutinized. I'm
and I
not
think
blaming
that's
you.
yeah,
Let's be
no,
clear. I'm saying the internet was going nuts about this for the past couple of days, and I kept seeing it, and I didn't know. Honest, when I saw it, I was like, "Ooh, man, oh, what's that about?" But
yeah.
apparently, it's normal. So if it's normal, why are we being scrutinized? Why is it a big deal? Then it should just be, "Hey, it's normal. Let's move on."
My
Why we
frustration,
always got to be the ones? I'm sorry. Go
right?
ahead.
No, it's okay. My frustration with it is that, and you know me, this is usually the route I go. Y'all don't do this. So why are y'all so mad? Not you, but
I'm about to say you. Who is you? But I'm not
the
me. But who's
public.
the you?
The
Like
the
the
people
fans?
who the people who are reacting to this,
Uh huh.
a lot of them don't do this. You don't get up on stage and perform in front of people. You don't do any of that. But yet your expectation is that someone should be able to do it on demand and without fault or
No, no, no,
without
no,
flaw.
no, 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 no. If people don't know this, the same way I have been to tons of concerts and did not know this,
Uh-huh.
right? Then the expectation is the artist I'm going to see
Uh-huh.
knows their songs by heart. The same way we, the fans, know their songs by heart. I come up on this platform and quote Jay-Z all the time and
Uh-huh.
others, but a lot of times I quote Jay-Z up here. When I go see Jay-Z, I expect Jay-Z to know the words to his songs.
Of course.
So if I go to a Jay-Z concert and see words on a teleprompter for Jigga, Jigga, that nigga Jigga, I'm very confused by that. Because I expect, as a fan who doesn't know this, right? Now that we know, different conversation. But off of the first time seeing it, the expectation is I'm going to get a good show. and you're gonna perform the song, and you're gonna know the songs.
I care less about the teleprompter and more about whether your music is actually live. That I think to me is more important.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it, they tried to get Chris Brown actually. I noticed that a lot of people were making comments about him being on tour and lip syncing. He doesn't typically lip sync on his tours. In fact, someone even in response to one of those comments, someone even posted where his music went out, like they had a technical issue, and he's actually singing his music a cappella. So I would be more concerned that an artist is actually singing their music, and totally understand that. Grain of salt there, because people like, even, I know I feel like I always bring up Beyonce, but I feel like she dances crazy on stage, or like Chris Brown dances crazy on stage. If we found out that they were lip syncing to certain songs because there was a lot more movement or whatever the case may be, like whatever the reason is, I feel like, okay, like I get it, because sometimes, you know, chew gum and walk at the same time. Sometimes it's just not possible, right? But but you look so serious when
I'm trying to let you go.
No, I'm just saying, I understand that there may be moments where people are performing and is better to have the track on than them singing or whatever it is, right? But what I would prefer is for them to see the lyrics on the screen and be able to recite their music, actually recite their music, rather than not. So the teleprompter it didn't really bother me when I saw it, is the point that I'm trying to make. It didn't, I was just like, oh, that's odd. Do That's really odd. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, I don't know anything about tour setups and things like that. Let me look it up and see. And sure enough, like all the articles I saw was like, oh yeah, this is like super common. Like people do this all the time. Um, so it doesn't bother me. I understand that people react that way, but I also feel like we have such high expectations of the people that we admire, or the people, our faves, the people we like, the people we idolize, however you want to say it. Um, we have such high expectations of them that it's like sometimes when we realize that they too are humans, and not of us, and not supernatural beings. I think it's like we can't, like I said, it's unfathomable sometimes, and I feel like that's what this is. Like when you really sit down and think about it, it makes a hell of a lot of sense to have the lyrics on the screen. What if you lose your train of thought? What if you, yes, you're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to be able to do this. This is your job. This is what you do. But the reality is, performing is, there's a lot going on. There's lights, there's cameras, there's people screaming, there's this, there's that. What if somebody has an off night and just loses their train of thought? As someone who loses their train of thought multiple times in one day, I can't even imagine. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And in terms of hip hop, I do think that's correct. That sometimes there is a lot more pressure, and even just with black music, I feel like there is a lot more pressure on how things should be, or this person did it this way, and that's not good enough. And it's always like the bar is always, it doesn't matter that this is a person who's performing to the best of their ability. They're at the top of their game. They're considered one of the upper echelon of their genre. We still can't we still can't make sense of the fact that they might actually be flawed humans who need a little help sometimes.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
why
what
I
I
brought
mean.
up the quote from the movie.
Huh?
So that's why I brought up the quote from the movie.
Yeah. So that's what I mean when I you know, when I say that, I just kind of feel like, you know, I I don't I can't imagine, like, I have spoken publicly. Yes, I speak on this podcast all the time, and I speak on Hardly Minding My Business, which has returned, by the way. But I there have been times where I've had to speak publicly and I forgot what I was going to say. And not because I didn't practice, not because I didn't know it, but shit, sometimes you just forget what you were going to say. It happens.
Right.
For a performer, it's probably fewer and far between, and it's probably not the thing that we would expect. But doesn't mean it doesn't mean it can't happen. So, and they weren't looking at it the entire time either.
I think who cares if they were? If it's something that's done across all genres, then whatever. What
Yeah.
should matter is that they put on a good show.
Yeah, and that's for the people to decide. I don't. Oh, but apparently, real quick, they apparently they didn't. Drake didn't like that when Lil Wayne came out initially. People weren't excited. I think this was in Florida. People weren't excited about it. I feel like Drake is always like trying to get people to hype up his daddy, and I don't. What do you want people to do? I mean, I don't have a problem with Lil Wayne. If Lil Wayne comes out and he starts performing a song that, shaped my youth, I'm probably gonna scream and get excited. But you can't make people get excited about someone coming out on stage.
I don't understand it either. People paid their hard-earned money. You got the money. That's it. What else do you want?
You'd be like, come on.
Like Drake, we are fans of you. That's why we're here.
That's how I feel. I feel like people are like, but we came to see you.
Right.
We don't have to get excited about him.